Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Economics Honors Online. Today we are going to a class of degree 4th semester on Mathematical Economics, Linear Programming. This is part 3. In continuation with this, there were two parts earlier, part 1 and part 2. In part 1 we have introduced the concepts, we have gone for maximization problem, graphic solution of course, and general formulation. In part 2 basically we have solved one problem in case of maximization with the help of graphical method, and in the end part of part 2 we have just introduced the general formulation to the problem of minimization. So today we'll be solving, we'll be dealing minimization problem, how to solve it with, of course, with graphical method. We'll be watching this in today's class. Most of you are communicating with me through your messages, so I'd like to know what part you are interested more to do online class, because I am doing classes for second semester, fourth semester, sixth semester, even past course and major honors, and even higher secondary. So that's why sometimes I may be giving importance in those areas where you don't require so much help. But what are the areas? What are the areas you are basically lagging behind, or you need more help? You just comment in the comment section. I'll be addressing to those problems. Okay, let us go directly to our problem today. And as I said, we will be discussing minimization problem. So let me take again one example to make you clear about the concept. So I'll be taking the example given in book directly. From after I solve this, you will be able to solve the questions which are given in the exercise. This is a direct problem. In case of maximization, you saw that the producer produces two goods and uses three inputs, three machines, and there is limitation of the machines. He cannot use those machines beyond a particular capacity. So how he will be taking the decision regarding the production of these two goods was the concern of maximization problem. Minimization definitely will be just opposite to that. So for better understanding the minimization problem, one example is given. Let me directly go to that example. So this is the formation of the problem. This type of question don't come in your exam. Solution comes. So first let us go through the formation so that we understand. After that we will be going to the solution. Say it's a direct problem. Direct problem. Direct problem means say you run a nursing home. Say you run one nursing home. So in the nursing home, these patients who are admitted to your nursing home, they get treatment and accordingly they pay. But you must provide food to them also. That means those who are admitted to your nursing home. In the morning you have to give breakfast, then lunch, dinner, all these things you have to provide. Now you are basically one business. Say for example, you are basically one businessman. You are not a doctor. Doctors are employed in that nursing home, but you are the owner of the nursing home. So what will be your motive? Definitely making profit. No doubt this service, but opening a nursing home means you want to make profit. So while you are willing to make profit, every aspect you have to give importance, from where you can make a good amount of profit without hampering your reputation. Now, when we talk about the food, there are various options, various kinds of food you can give to your patients who are admitted to your nursing home. So what will be your wish or what you will like to do? You will not like to give plenty of foods to the patients because that will cost you. So you will try to give them as minimum food as is sufficient. Now there is another problem. As I said, these are constraint optimization. You want to give minimum food. Okay, I accept. That will make your give you more profit. But there are certain limits. When you are admitting one patient, there are certain limits regarding calorie, regarding vitamins, regarding X, regarding Y. Now your food, say for example, for a patient in the dinner, what you give that must contain 1000 calorie. Okay. Now, whether you are going to give roti dal or roti chicken or rice dal or rice chicken, that will be basically guided by this constraint. Whatever you give, that must have this much, 1000. It may have 1500 calories, no problem. It may have, that food may have 2000 calories, no problem. But that food cannot contain only 900 calories. This is restricted. So your objective is to minimize the cost. Your objective is to minimize the cost. But while minimizing the cost, this is restricting you. You cannot go much below. Okay. So this is a constraint. I hope you understand this thing, this example. So similar type of example is given here. So say name of the nutrients. What are the nutrients required? I am just formulating the problem, that's why I am writing it in short. We'll be doing solving the problem in detail. Nutrient contains per unit of food. If it is roti, if it's x1 and this is x2. So if x1 is roti, so per unit of food, per one roti, how much nutrients that have. We'll be writing the nutrients here, don't worry. X1 and x2, and maximum daily requirement that will be fixed by doctors. As I said, 1000 calories. Maximum daily requirements of nutrients. Now let us come to first one, carbohydrate. So carbohydrate, it should be 1, 2 in roti. In 1 unit roti, 1 unit carbohydrate is there. So 1 unit means maybe 10 gram, maybe 100 gram, whatever. Here in that food, whatever food it may be, x2, it contains 2 gram of your carbohydrate, and maximum daily requirement must be equal to 3. Then protein, this first food contain 1 and the second food contain 4, and maximum daily requirement is 4. What is this? In my previous example, that 1000, that means you have to give this much. You can give more than that, but at the minimum you must give this much. You cannot give below this. Then minerals, it is 3 and 1, and your maximum daily requirements of nutrients, this is 3, whatever. Now let us come to the price. price of this item, this food item, and price of that food item. It's rupees 12 and this is rupees 42. Okay. So I hope you understand the situation here. In my last example, what I have given, only single nutrients was there and single decision was there, but here it is a complex decision, because when you give dinner or lunch, it will be variety of foods, and accordingly you have to take the decision, and there will be variety of nutrients. There may be more than vitamin A, B, and all these things here also, but we are keeping it simple. Now here the problem is minimization. Your objective is to cost minimization. 12 rupees, 42 rupees. How you can manage to give this required amount of food, this required amount of calories at a minimum cost. So that will be your objective. While thinking about the minimum, you have to also think about the constraints, because you cannot go below that. Whatever. I don't have space. Okay, let me do twice. So first, I'm doing it here. I will be copying it here. After releasing this from here, I'm doing it here. First, your problem is minimization. Minimization. So minimization means cost minimization. So C. So what are the two things which you have to consider? 12 x1 plus 42 x2. What is this? Because you have to give two goods, na? You have to give two goods, x1 and x2. So price of x1 into how many x1? Price of x2 into how many x2 is equal to the total cost which you require, you need to pay. I hope it's clear. If you give roti, then if you give 3 roti per person, 3 into 12 is 36 rupees on roti. Sabji or chicken, if it is 42, one plate of chicken, that means you have to pay 42. So 36 plus 42, 78, I hope. So that will be your cost. So in this way, this is the cost function. Okay. Now subject to the constraints. What are the constraints? The constraint is 1x1 plus 2x2 is less 1. Oh sorry, no, I don't require to write 1. Achha, I can erase this, huh? I hope you have seen. If you will not, repeat the video. So this will be x1 and plus 2x2. So you have to give more than equal to 3 calories. What does it mean? You have to give 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. You cannot give 2. So this is the first constraint. And the second constraint is again x1 plus 4x2 greater than or equal to 4. Then, last one, 3x1 plus x2 greater than or equal to 3. So, and definitely, now I can erase this. Definitely, x1 greater than or equal to 0, that means at the most it can be 0 or more than 0, and x2 greater than or equal to 0. So in this way, from this problem, we are formulating the problem in equational form. It is a tabular form of the problem. From that we are forming the problem in equational form. This is the process. Now, what will be asked in your exam? In your exam, this type of problem will be given, and you will be asked to find out the solution, the values of x1 and x2, which minimizes the cost. So definitely you have to go for graphic solution, you can go for simplex method, but I have already mentioned the simplex method is out of your syllabus, that is not required. Till now, in your master degree, that will be required. It is very important. Okay, let me copy this here now to make it clear. I have to be careful while copying. I don't change the values. Minimization C equal to 12x1 plus 42x2. Whether my camera is focused or not, I don't know. Yeah, it's focused. Subject to x1 plus 2x2 greater than equal to 3 and x1 plus 4x2 greater than equal to 4 and 3x1 plus x2 greater than equal to 3, x1 greater than equal to 0 and x2 greater than equal to 0. Okay, now I can erase this. This is not necessary. If I am not wrong in copying any of the thing. Let me check once. C 12, 42, it's good. 1, 2, okay. 1, 4, yes. And 3, 1, okay. 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3. Okay, so it's right. Now, in my last video, in part 2, I directly from here went to the graphical solution and told you that you write like this and like this. Some of the students say that, some of the students communicated me and they said that they could not write the process. So here I will be going in detail. Okay, I will not just simply saying do this. I will be showing you how to write. So first of all, it will be very good if you give equation numbers. One constant, it is also one, say 2, 3 and 4. Now equalizing 2, 3 and 4 we get. So in the simple in the graphical method, first of all you have to equalize. That means you have to take the maximum capacity. That means it's more than equal to 3, but you take it as 3. So it will be x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 3. Only constant, you can write only constant because this will not change. And again x1 plus 4x2 is equal to 4 and 3x1 plus x2 is equal to 3. In not a single equation we have to simplify. That is, if there is 2 there is no 4, otherwise I could eliminate the values by taking common and all this, but here it's perfectly alright. If in like my last video, if say for example there is 4, it is 4. If here it was 2, then you could take 2 common and take that side, that 4 will become 2. That things you can do. You can make the equation simple, but here it is not required. We cannot do that. So we have done it. Now what will be our next task? We have seen in our last example, we have to go from here to the graphic solution. So before going to the graphic solution, this thing I just said, okay, so it is 5, equation 5, 6, equation 7. No? Yeah, 7. So for graphic solution you need the values of x and x1 and x2. So better you find out the values of x1 and x2 for each of the equations. For equation 5, okay. For equation 5, when x1 equal to 0, if x1 equal to 0, so it will be 0 plus 2x2 is equal to 3. So your x2 will be 3 by 2. x2 equal to 3 by 2, 1.5. Okay. And when x2 equal to 0, so it will be x1 plus 2 into 0 equal to 3, x1 equal to 3. Okay. In this way, for other two, you find the values. Okay. For equation, 6. This is 5. 6. So I think I can write directly now. I'll write directly now, but you don't write. You do this for each and every one. Okay. You will be getting marks for that. If x1 is 0, x2 will be 1. You see, x1 0, 4x2 equal to 4. So x2 will be 1. And if x2 equal to 0, x1 will be 4. Okay. For equation 6, 7. Here, if x1 is equal to 0, x2 will be 3. And if x1 equal to 0, x2 equal to 0, x1 will be 1. I hope you understand. I skipped these steps here. You have to do it for here and here also. For saving time, I have just jumped these steps. Let me keep the objective function as it is and go for the graph. So now we are in a position to draw plot the constraints in a graph. So you write plotting the above constraints, plotting the above constraints in the following graph we get. So in your exam, in your final exam, you will be getting graph paper. So do it separately. Do this in your white paper, and in this thing you do in graph paper. Just write one sentence. The graphical solution, graphic support is or solution is given in the graph paper, and attach it well with your exam copy. Okay. What are the maximum values? If you're doing the minimization problem, then maximum values are 3 and 4, I think. Yeah. See, 4, 3, nothing more than that. So it's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, sufficient. I think it will be here. 4. And this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. I am doing guesswork. You have to use scale, okay? And in graph paper, you know that this scaling is given, so it will not be a problem. But for me, it may create some problem. This solution may not be appropriate because I have done it on the basis of idea. So This scalings may differ. Now plot the first one, equation 5. It is x1 0, 1.5 and 3. Yeah, 3 and 1.5. This side x1, this side x2. So, oh sorry, I have this. I can use it. 3 x1, this one, and 1.5 here. Yeah. So this is one constraint. I could write the values of the name of the constraint if I had the equation. I don't have the equation now. I have erased it. Let me see whether I get it here or not. I think this equation is no. This one is, yeah, x1 plus 2x2 equal to 3. This one is x1 plus 2x2 equal to 3, no? Yeah, it's equal to 3 because we have equalist. So this constraint. And it's not good. What is the next value? Yeah, 1 and 4. X1 is 4 here, and it is 1. Okay, here. One and 4, and this constraint is x1 plus 2x2 equal to 4, I think. Yeah, x1 plus 2x2 equal to x1 plus 4x2 equal to 4. This one is x1 plus 4x2 is equal to 4, that constraint. And one constraint remain, this one, and this one is x1 is 1 and x2 is 3. 1 3. Okay. Okay. I have I'm done. I can write the name. Its name is 3x1 plus x2. Yeah. 3x1 plus x2 is equal to 3, I think. Yes, 3. Now, the basic difference is, in that example, this was your feasible area because you want to go up, maximization. But here the problem is minimization. You want to find out the values which minimize. So from here you want to come down. Okay. So your whole feasible area is this. This is your feasible area. Okay. This is your feasible area. It's not necessary to mark like me. Okay, I have just marked unconsciously to show you what is feasible area. Let me just. This is your feasible area. And what are the corner solutions? These are not the corner solution because feasible area, corner solutions touching feasible area. So this is one corner solution. This is one corner solution. This is one corner solution. And not this one. This one is one corner solution. Why? Because you cannot come to this point because this constraint is stopping you. I told you last day. These are the borders which restrict you to come here. So if you go this side, this border will, this axis will stop you. If you come here, because axis stop means 0, 0, you cannot produce below than 0. If you come here, this constraint will stop you. If you come here, this will stop you. And if you try to cross this, this constraint will stop you. So that means they are the constraints. These are the neutron values which you have to provide. So this, and these are the corner solution. Those who don't have the idea of corner solution, go to my last video, it will be clear. Now again, from here everything is same. From here everything is same. So you can go for two way of solution. What? You have to find out the values of the corner solution. So here the value is, let me write it little bit heavy. It was 3x1 plus x2. 3x1 plus, x2 is equal to 3. Okay. So you can name these corner solutions A, B, C, and this one D. So A, value of x1 is, in A, value of x1 is 0 and x2 is 3. Okay? And in B, it's little bit complicated. In B, since I don't have graph, so it will be very difficult to find out the value. In graph it will be easy, you will be getting the values, but as I said, I am not using graph, so I'll be basing on the slope of the equation, and this will be 6 by 10 B, 6 by 10, and 6 by 5. Why 6 by 5? You need not to worry how I am getting this, because you will be doing it in graph. So you will be directly getting the values reading the graph. But here the values are coming from the slope. But since it will take much more time, I am not going in detail. Directly those values which we can see, we are writing. Here I said once that my scaling is not good, that's why the values may differ. This 2 should be here. C, it is 2, and this side half, 0.5. Okay, it comes here. And last one, very easy. X value only you have, that is D. X value you have 4, and Y value you don't have, 0. So one way of solution is, I have explained in my last video, one way of solution is, for A you put these values in this equation, for B you put the values in this equation, for C you put the values in this equation, for D you put the values 4 and 0 in this equation. That is your optimization function, your minimization function, and you will be getting several values, say 15, 20, 35 and 26. So among these values, which one is minimum? 15. So which gives you 15? Out of this 4, which point gives you 15? That point will be selected as your equilibrium point, which gives you minimum of x1 and x2. Now, as I said, I don't prefer that method. The second method is finding out the slope. So what you can do, you can find out the slope of this your what was that? Profit function. I can erase, sorry, cost function. I can erase this. These things I have done in detail in my last class, so I am just doing it in short. So you have to write. For finding out the slope of the, finding out the slope of the cost function, we rearrange the function as follows. So you have to rearrange the function equal to so I did it in my last class. I'm not repeating those things. Why for slope you have to take x to this side and remaining that side. All these things I have said in detail in my last class. So you go to the 42 x2 equal to c minus 12 x1, x2 equal to cy 42 minus 12 by 42 x1. Okay, this will be cy 42 minus those things cannot be cancelled. Yeah, those things cannot be cancelled. 2 and this side yeah 6 2 and 7 x1. So minus 2 by 7 x1. Now this is the slope, this is the intercept. So we got the slope. Slope of the your slope of the what? Your cost function is minus 2 7. So what you have to do now? I have not put 7 here, no? So let me increase it. 4, this is 5, this is 6, and this one is 7. It looks very dirty because I am using this marker, so that's why it's very much congested. Otherwise, you will be using pencil, so it will not look like that. Whatever, yeah, nice. So minus 2 or 7 minus this 2 by 7. So yeah, 2 7. Sorry. Yeah. So again the rule is same. Again the rule is same. That means this cost function of that is what you want to optimize, minimize, the minimization function, its slope should not be intersecting any constant. Where at a point, at a corner solution where it is tangent, touching, that will be the solution. You see, if I raise it, it will be intersecting here. Now you try to minimize, so you will be going down here. I can put several constraints, several objective functions, but it will look dirty. So I am directly going to this one. I think this point is the point. Yeah, this point is the point where this C point is the point where your objective function is just touching point C, is tangent to point C. Since my diagram is not good, I am not sure. Still, I'll be. But they have did. Yeah, minus 2 by 7 is the slope. 2.5. It was yeah 2.5. 2.5 means this point. Yeah, point C. Point C is 2.5. 2 x1 and half 0.5. That means half x2. So at C, so you write your answer like this. Since the objective function is tangent or minimum at point C, where x1 is 2 and x2 is 0.5, and these values of x1 and x2 is minimizing the objective function. So we get our answer, that is point C. I am not writing it here, that is point C. So we get our solution like that. I am again repeating, it looks very dirty. For me it is looking very dirty. For you it's also, because you will be watching this in your YouTube and all these things through your mobile, so it will not be so clear. But whenever you go for practicing these things with the help of your pencil in your graph paper or copy, you will be doing it perfectly. Now, one thing I have to mention, if some of you, because it is lockdown time and you may not get graph paper and all this, so if you are going to practice in white copy, while doing this, let me do it here. What you do, don't put the scaling on idea. This is 1, this is 2, like not like that. You use your scale here. With the help of scale, you use these points. Okay, it's not, there is no scaling, it's just catching of electric. So you do it by calculation. Then what will happen? This type of problems. What problem I had? 2 was initially here. So this type of problems will not occur. You will be able to solve. But best way, as I said, is graph paper. You have to use graph paper for that. So we'll be finishing it, we'll be summing it up here. This is the process of finding out the minimization values of inequality with inequality constant, that means in linear programming. Next day we'll be coming with one new aspect of this chapter, that problem of duality. We'll be watching that, and I hope that part 3 will be the end part of this unit, and it will be the complete syllabus will be covered within this, and you will be able to answer any question which comes in your exam. Okay, so with this we stop here. Thank you. Be safe, stay at home. Thank you.